Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Saturday, September 8th, 2018. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as the souls are already living by the many Search for Truth rules given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us. And those rules include participating in the assignments, the work assignments given to the Search for Truth community, and those assignments include participating in searches for truth, attempting to discern the meanings of various messages that play out through these host lives. Our fundamental assignment, someone is talking to a group, as if a teacher might be talking to a student, saying our fundamental assignment, maybe it's not so much a teacher talking to students as a person explaining the job to new recruits or
That's
new
true.
applicants, more like new applicants, and they're explaining the job, saying our fundamental assignment is to run experiments that have been sent in from wiser minds above all of us, in higher dimensions above all of us, run those experiments, collect the data, and send up the results of the experiments. Just report back. Here is what happened. Here's the experiment that we did. Here's what happened. Here's what we think you said to do. Here's what we did. Here's what happened. And just to continue to do that. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Sometimes the ideas from above are excellent and fit the situation, and sometimes they don't fit the situation. But until we actually do the assignment, we don't know whether or not it will work. The only times we're allowed to say no and be within the rules are if it's a safety issue or there's a conflict of instructions. One instruction says X, this other instruction says Y. Then we have an opportunity to figure out which instruction comes with more credibility, either a preponderance of evidence. It's a long-standing channeling through many higher presences, many various higher presences. Or the person who's saying it upstairs, the higher dimension presence who's saying it, is clearly of higher pitch than the presence who's saying the other thing.
That's true.
But attempting to discern between the various instructions that come in here is part of the fun challenge. Why do you ask? And for whom is the message? There's this same person, and it's like he's talking to a room full of applicants, kind of like for flight school.
That's true.
Or something like flight school, and he's tapping on the blackboard and pointing to something. Let me see if I can get this. It is about the alternate realities of the same dimension.
That's true.
Which exist, and possibly we can even see each other with our eyes of the same dimension, but our belief systems are so different as to create entirely different experiences from the same event.
That's true.
And they're using examples of chickens who believe themselves to be threatened by one experience, which to our human eyes looks completely safe to the chickens.
That's true.
And then the chickens seem not threatened by other situations which to our human eyes look like they need to be more careful, and that could cause one of them to make an exit pretty fast.
That's true.
This little guy is very insistent. He's hovering right in front. Pan, can you see this guy? Where'd he go?
He's on top of the green water bottle.
Show it to Pan. Look at this guy. Pan, can you see this guy? He's been hovering and staring at us. He was hovering motionless, kind of like a helicopter would.
Yeah, that's true.
And right around him we have a cloud of love bugs. And right around us we also have a cloud of love bugs. And we know that this is somehow relevant to the messages of alternate realities, although it's unclear to us how. We can tell the love bugs are relevant.
That's true.
For whom is the message, and why do you ask? The answer to your question is love bugs. The answer to your question is love bugs. For whom is the message, and why do you ask? There's this discussion group, and they're talking about when we're attempting to discern what's actually going on, how difficult it can be to discern the starting point at which the discussion or the inquiry should begin.
That's true.
Because there's always something that came before that, and there's always something that came before that, and there's always something that came before that, and always something that came before that. And where does one draw the line and begin the discussion? And the actual typical pattern is for presences to draw the line at the place that best supports their theory and what they're trying to promulgate.
That's true.
And the trick is to release our will to higher powers and not try to promulgate anything, simply to try to live to the soul plan that we agreed to before birth.
That's
And
true.
we all have a soul plan. It's something that we agreed to before birth, and when we die, as is inevitable, this is what we're held accountable to. And now there's two hawks flying right overhead, and they're
That's
flying
true.
silently and parking themselves right above the chicken yard.
That's true.
And the actual question is, what is supposed to happen? By divine plan, what is supposed to happen? Maybe our chickens are supposed to feed these hawks, in which case it's fine
That's true.
that our chickens feed the hawks, giving them a gift of their bodies. That's okay. Some people eat chickens, and what difference
true.
does it make if it's a hawk or a human who eats a chicken? I see very little difference. To
That's
the chicken,
true.
there's very little difference.
Oh, yeah.
This Mr. Hovercraft guy is still here, and he's very insistent.
That's true.
Pan, can you see this guy? Pan, look at this guy. He's bringing you a message. I know it. I know it's for you. Well, he's just talking about how tough it is for their community and how there's so little left, and he's asking for help. He's petitioning for help.
That's
He
true.
wants help. Pan says, I'll add it to the list.
Oh, that's true.
Friends, it's really time for us to begin to work as a global collective, at a minimum as a global collective. That's the bare minimum. We're destroying life on Earth. This isn't business as usual. These aren't games as usual. It's time to play the game of life to new rules, to make it a new game. We've got to start working together for the good of the collective, and bizarrely we see no interest in that, none at all. There seems to be a complete disconnect from reality. There's no uptick in interest in stopping the major challenges to continued life. There's actually an uptick in interest in exploiting that which is left to be exploited, as if we're pressing the accelerator to go faster right before we slam into the brick wall. This doesn't make sense.
That's true.
It's irrational behavior. So what does one do when society is acting irrationally? This is an important question. I see a lot of popcorn eaters.
Yeah, I do. In less dense dimensions.
In less dense dimensions, and probably in alternate realities of the same density. There's a lot of presences not doing anything while being aware that the society in which they find themselves living is toxic.
That's true.
We have, all of us, this important question of what do we do when we're living inside of a toxic society, and the answer to that is variable depending on our soul plans. And until we go back to the soul plan, it's impossible to discern what it is we should be doing. both for us and for those whom we observe. When we see somebody doing something that seems to us to be crazy, the actual question is, well, what does their soul plan say they're supposed to be doing? Because sometimes their soul plan says they're supposed to be doing exactly that. And
That's true.
a classic example is Hitler.
That's right.
Who did something that was really crazy and demented, but he was doing what his soul plan said he was supposed to do. He was supposed to do something that was so outrageous that the rest of his country and the rest of Europe and the rest of the world would stand up and say, that's crazy. No, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to participate. Count me out. I refuse. No.
That's true.
And to everybody's great surprise, shock, horror, dismay upstairs, that isn't what had happened. But Hitler was doing what he was supposed to do according to his soul plan. If you asked to be shown Hitler's soul plan, it said basically do what he did. And everybody else's soul plan said refuse to go along with that. Stand up, say no.
Yeah, that's true.
Millions upon millions upon millions of people had a soul plan that said refuse to go along with it, stand up, say no. Hitler's soul plan said promulgate this crazy idea.
Yes, and keep pushing it.
And keep pushing it, and don't give up until the bitter end. Push it your entire life long. We are calling a convention of love bugs, and I know that they're part of the message.
That's
so,
true.
friends, the answer to the question is love bugs. We've got to have maybe 50 or 100 pairs right around us in this very small little area, and they're still coming. I can see them coming.
That's true. From across
afar,
the field.
They're coming. More and more of them are coming. The answer to the question is love bugs, and so I'm supposed to just start saying what I know about love bugs. I know that they are invasive and exotic. They're not a Florida species.
That's true.
And that they mate and then fly around in their mating state, and that they come out in the middle of the day when it's hot, and that they are attracted to heat and to asphalt.
That's true.
And we're sitting in a shaded, cool area. There's no asphalt anywhere near. There's absolutely no reason they should be here. They don't bother humans. They don't harm humans. They're neutral with regard to humans.
That's true.
Look at how many there are.
This is...
And we hope you guys can see this on camera. It's
I
just
really
an
hope
absolute
so.
cloud of love bugs. And there's no reason for them to be here. Actually, love bugs are supposed to hatch and fly in October.
That's
May
true.
and October are the love bug months, and any long-term Floridian knows that.
That's true.
And it is nowhere near October. It is September 8th. They're a month early. It's a month before it should look like this, which is fascinating because winter is starting later, not earlier.
That's true.
What we're looking at is the disruption of the ecological cycles. Why the love bugs have decided it's time to hatch and mate and fly around in their mating state is something that's a mystery to us, but they definitely, A, don't even belong in Florida.
That's true.
And B, are a month early.
That's true.
At a time that winters are starting a month late. So if you look at the seasonality, there might be 2 months early. If you look at temperature differential. So if they're looking at temperature, it doesn't make any sense to be here now. They should still be in their larval state. And if you're looking at daylight hours, which is another way that species determine when to do what, then they're still a month early.
That's true.
The answer to the question is love bugs. Why do you ask? One thing they could be doing is looking at prediction points, because they have this big ongoing inquiry into how long can this possibly last. Now these guys are just like right in front of me.
Yes, and they're all around. They're on the back of the chair.
There's no reason for love bugs to be attracted to humans.
That's true.
They like the exhales of automobiles. They don't care about the exhales of humans. Mosquitoes care about the exhales of humans.
That's true.
And we're grateful that they're keeping the mosquitoes away. This is something that is a breakdown. This is a
That's
message
true.
of breakdown, system breakdown. We're watching our biosphere break down, just as we're watching our republic form of government break down.
That's true.
And it's important to at least be respectful to these historic times and to acknowledge what's happening, to see what's happening, to observe it, to not deny that reality, and to be respectful to that which was. Be respectful to healthy ecosystems, and be respectful to a democratic republic form of government that really is no more. The Senate is supposedly holding hearings on a Supreme Court nominee, but they have decided to waive the rule, the law, that says Supreme Court judges should be seated with a 60% majority of the Senate. So they've decided to hold illegal hearings, and they're refusing to release documents that are applicable in the decision-making process. And they're just pretending that they can say what rules apply.
That's true.
And that's a breakdown of law. It's a bloodless coup. And maybe we're glad that it's bloodless. But it is a theft of a government.
That's true.
And it's still true, and I know that you guys are trying to cover this up and make a bunch of noise.
That's true.
But the truth is that it's important to be respectful to that which was. When a friend dies, it's disrespectful to parade around pretending that the friend didn't just die.
That's true.
And how crazy it would be if we were to do that. People would frown upon us.
That's true.
And that's what's happening. We're killing our biosphere, and we have killed our republic, our democratic republic form of government. We have now become a plutocracy, which is a term that means owned by the rich.
Yes, that's true.
Which is the good old days of feudalism coming back, and that's okay. It might be fine, I don't know. It might be a better form of government for all I know, but it's important to acknowledge what's happening, is that this situation has now evolved from a democratic republic to a plutocracy. Okay, we're playing by new rules. All right. It's just important to acknowledge what's actually going on. For whom is the message? And why do you ask? Nobody's answering. Nobody's answering.
Nobody's answering.
We've asked this question and nobody's answering.
No, that's true.